Aw, yeah. Here it is. Sup, girl? Yeah.
The D.
All right.
Detroit.
Have you heard that song? How we supposed to keep peace? It's so cold in the D. The Detroit song?
I've never
Oh
heard it.
man, it's awful. I'll have to show you that after.
Sounds like Cleveland Rocks.
Yeah, same thing. Anyway, welcome back everybody to another episode of the Faith and Whatever podcast. I am your moderator extraordinaire at Josh_Carmen. I am joined again by the most excellent KJ from OC. You can find him on. You pretty much just go to anything and type in KJ from OC and he will pop up.
You're welcome.
He's there. As usual, Jamothy is at James Yuile. Chris is at Marion Ranch, and Garrett, who's on vacation apparently in Texas. Thanks for letting me know, Garrett.
I like how he told us from the plane.
At T-Student Life. Oh, I'm a private pilot. I'm the best man ever. No, just kidding. He's pretty cool. Do you know he has his pilot's license?
Yeah, I knew that.
That's so epic. Crazy. So, speaking of which, we are going to talk about other exceptional things and nuances today. For our pop topic, we are discussing all things Apple. Everybody on this podcast is a huge Apple fan, if I can just center that the right way there, or we can just put it behind me. This logo, I think we would all agree, has just come to symbolize ingenuity, genius, generation defining, perhaps the single greatest advancement of humankind ever.
He's trying to make your head explode,
And
James.
I picked the TV.
I don't so I don't know. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but there's nothing better that's ever existed and probably will ever exist than
Apple
products.
There you go, Josh.
I didn't say
it. You said ever.
And so as far as a product, the cross isn't a product, man. It's a lifestyle. Yeah, that's right.
Ooh.
You can find my blog over at
faithandwhatever.com.
So
Jesus swerve.
Okay, the keynote, if you don't know, happened pretty recently, and so we just wanted to take a second to review it because actually a lot of the opinions you may not know on this show are split down the middle in that Chris, Garrett, and James hate Apple.
Correct.
And I am just a fan of whatever is ezy for me to use, and Apple is easy to use.
And this is my phone.
And KJ still has a...
What's your password?
Open Sesame.
So that's kind of a smartphone.
Kinda.
Right?
Like it's got some touch screen
Yeah,
stuff.
so it's on the way
And
to
I
the
hate
touch
it.
screen.
I hate it.
It'll get better.
I did that same thing. I switched to a flip phone throughout my graduate studies years because I was always so distracted by playing Clash of Clans and other video, which is not a racist game despite the name. And Keeping Up with the Kardashians, which a game I beat, or Kim Kardashian, Hollywood, which I beat, by the way. So, Apple, we're here. Do you know anything, or do you want me to kind of get us started with...
iPhone 7 was released, or announced.
Yeah.
Along with the iPhone 7 Plus.
So, one of the things I think we can all agree on, right, is that for the last, basically since Steve Jobs died, we've just kind of been behind the curve there. Apple has not been innovative as far as releasing their new stuff. I think they finally caught up to 2014 this year.
I would even make
water resistant.
I'd even make the argument that the relationship between Apple and Samsung flip-flopped. I mean, I think you can make a good argument that a lot of Samsung's smartphones were trailing Apple. They were doing what Apple was doing. And then Samsung started focusing on having like multiple SKUs, having a big and a small, and having like a feature-rich power user phone, and like and then I think Apple,
let's do this
with the death of Steve Jobs, flip-flopped and started following Samsung with their plus size phone and all of that.
Give me the best description, because I would just tend to agree that Samsung's probably the best set of phones on the market right now. So give me just a lowdown of the best Samsung phone there is, and we'll run the Apple next to it.
If you're stranded and you need to start a fire, then the new Note is perfect.
Jeez. Yeah, well, I mean, it depends on what features you're into. The way Samsung divides
just the one that
is,
you like.
Well, my favorite's the Note. I like the Note series because I'm a power user. I like a phone that's.
What does that mean, power user?
It's like hard sci-fi.
Meaning you want your phone to replace as best as possible a laptop.
Okay.
So you want to be able to, anything a laptop can do, you want your phone to be able to do.
Do you want that in a phone?
That's a power user.
No, I want to
either.
just be able to use my phone to call and text.
That's
and
not
take
me.
pictures.
Yeah, that's silly. Why do you call people?
I'm old.
I use my phone to ignore as many calls as
True
possible.
story. If I call my wife, she doesn't pick up, and then she texts, "What do you want?"
Is she
Josh-
millennial?
Sort of.
Right?
Josh, have you ever hung up a phone?
Oh yeah, I still remember the rotary phone in the Philippines. There, right? We used to make phone calls out of that thing. I used to practice dialing 911 out of that, and then I hung up cordless phones. So I don't know if that counts. It's more like a boop.
Yep.
So I guess that's not a hang up. So just the rotary phone in a developing nation in the early 90s. So no, is probably the answer to that. So power user for the Note series basically allows you to replace your computer for most things that you would normally do.
Optionally so.
Yeah, with the exception of probably writing a thesis. Which,
Probably could.
There.
Yeah.
Enough battery power.
140 characters at a time.
So that stacks up pretty heavy. I don't think you can really do that with the iPhone 7 or the 7 Plus. Some of the big things that it features, right? It's I was gonna say bulletproof. It's water resistant now. Not bulletproof.
We need to get one on the show.
We'll find
Get
out.
a million clicks.
It has the Taptic engine in it, right? They got rid of the home button now, which is a little bit weird to me because the home button I like. It's
So
kind
is
of
it
comforting to
buttons?
touch. Yeah, it's like a sensor. Right, and then it reacts with the what's called the force touch, right? The harder you push on
Even
it.
though I'm a Samsung fan, the best home button is by far LG. LG puts it on the back of the phone, so that you hold your phone like this, and it's right there where your index finger would go. So you just for
So-
the home, it's perfect. It's the perfect button.
Yeah, that's not Apple, so it's probably not important. There, but so okay, so as this is probably the thing that I've been most impressed with, and I was wondering about this mainly. For as far as as far as anybody who's listening or watching, the other big features for the phone, 2 new colors, matte black, jet black. Although jet black on it is more prone to scratching and picks up fingerprints like crazy, and so does the dust.
So it's really
But it
fingerprint colored.
And yeah, but it is a sexy color. It looks good against a black background. Makes it even more black. Yeah. That kind of fits the theme. So this idea of the new camera, I'm sorry, the new color is not as impressive or not as important. The A10 chip, which makes the processing faster, it's supposed to have an extra hour of battery life above the 6 Plus, so that means you can have the phone running for about an hour and a half now, and have a good time. So whatever that tells you. But the big step up that I was really impressed with, and I was kind of curious if against the other LG, Samsung, Motorola, and those phone companies, is the new camera that the 7 Plus has, right?
Actually, Samsung's known for having usually the best camera.
Okay, so this is what I'm curious about because 7 Plus now has a
Double camera?
double camera. Both of them are 12 megapixels each, but one is a 56 millimeter camera. And the thing that I've seen, the aperture feature, the 1.8 aperture feature is what allows up to 50% more light that comes into the camera sensor. Then the 6S, which means the low lighting situations are great, and it allows for the 12 megapixel camera to have more kind of bang for the buck, right? It doesn't have to. Samsung has like a 40 megapixel camera or something like that.
No,
in
that's
the
the phone that starts with an N. What's
The
that
Nexus?
phone? No,
The Nexus?
no, it's the Lumen. It's not an N. The
Luminix.
Luminix.
Illuminati.
Luminix. They're also a camera company though too, aren't
So
No,
okay,
I'm
so
thinking
it's
of-
not. But I
that's
mean,
not
it's
the
not.
name.
It's not
it's
that
a,
ridiculous.
It's a Windows phone.
Okay.
It's a Windows phone that has the 50 and 40 megapixel camera.
It's a Windows phone, so no one knows if it works.
Yeah, no kidding.
I have a
So-
Zune.
So this idea of right, it has a time lapse slow mo video, 4K video now, which is new for there. But it's got the 56 millimeter camera. That's the telephoto lens, which is super good.
Yeah, what kind of data plan would you need to upload 4K videos?
I don't know, just probably mine. But it's got a 7 megapixel camera in the front now, and so. Are other phones already ahead of that curve, or is this Apple kind of taking a step forward
I mean,
in the camera game? I'm talking specifically Samsung.
I'd have to look that up. I mean, the problem with all of these things is all these companies develop their phone cameras in different ways to ultimately make a nice photo, and so so you can't really compare all of these random technical things because they're all just coming to the same conclusion through completely different
Because they're all
directions.
going through the same Instagram filter.
No, like
Sepia.
for some it's a double camera. For some it's having an incredible amount of megapixels, so zooming is better. For some it's having certain like color programming involved in capturing the image. ultimately the only way to tell whether this is a camera you want or not is to look at YouTube videos where people take photos of the same thing with different cameras, and you can just see what the photo results are.
Okay.
And I haven't seen that yet for the iPhone 7, so I can't really speak to it. What I do know is, generally for like your flagship phones, Samsung tends to be, if not the best camera, among the best.
Mm-hmm.
And but having said that, every year everybody beats everybody. So all the Samsung phones for 2016 are out now. So I would expect the newest iPhone to destroy the Samsung one. The question is,
You would expect.
yeah. The question is, how will Samsung respond?
Yeah.
And that's how they always work. They always just respond to each other. It's this cycle of beating each other.
So the biggest thing, and KJ, and your comments on this we'd appreciated, the wireless now that they've gone, right?
No head jack,
They
by
got
the way.
rid of the 3.5 millimeter head jack, though they do include a dongle.
Well,
should you want to plug
I
your
thght,
headphones into.
It's an adapter. So you
It's
can
an
Yeah,
adapter.
they go into the lightning.
It's a lightning.
Yeah.
It's a lightning dongle.
Yeah.
Which sounds funny. Lightning dongle. So anyhow, or you can buy the AirPods, right, and put them in your ear.
It's $160 headphones.
Yeah, $160 headphones. Is now
That have no wires on them, so when you lose them.
and so, but this is interesting to me because we've always talked about Apple being innovative, right? We've always
Right.
talked about Apple kind of setting the curve, and groups, Samsung, things. People are already moving towards wireless, right? Wireless charging. All these things are good.
Yeah, all
things.
Samsung phones are wireless charging.
Yeah. So
Built in.
this has just gone to wireless headphones now. Do you think it's a good move, or what are the thoughts kind of on this? So you put them in your ear, and you can listen to up to 5 hours at a time on one charge.
It basically looks like you're wearing two Bluetooth headsets.
Yeah, on each side. So I'm kind of curious to think because the battery life doesn't bother me that much 5 hours because I don't ever listen to music 5 continuous hours without stopping for at least something, either to poop or to get a sandwich.
I'm not. I mean, it doesn't win
Or
somebody.
both at the same
I
time.
think I'm an outlier here, but it doesn't win somebody like me because I don't like charging many things at once. I can barely put up with charging my phone every day.
So all you do is you just put them in the little container that they came in, and it charges them in the container.
Yeah, but how does the container get charged?
You charge it at night. You would charge it at the same time you charge your phone.
Yes, I don't want to charge two. I mean, just saying that's my personal preference.
Yeah, that's fine.
Because I've had like Bluetooth headsets before for driving, and I ended up just giving them away. I ended up just
Throw it
giving
out
them
the window.
away because after like a week, I don't want to charge them anymore.
Okay.
I just don't. I don't want to charge them at all. I don't like.
Is it a lazy thing or is it just an inconvenience thing?
It's an inconvenience.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. So what do you think, KJ?
This whole
Because Beats are already all wireless.
Yeah.
Right. And Beats is actually coming out with the same kind of line.
it
and
sounds like
getting ready to do
iPhone is just really not even bringing it right now.
that. Okay. So this
You know.
is not a good move to you. This is not a big move. This
I
is
saw
not
a video the other day of like the features, and they move this thing and remove this thing, and it's like, what about functionality? What about how it actually runs? Does it run faster? Does it run better? Is the battery life longer? Like, if these aren't major things that, I mean, I know you said the 5 hour thing, but it's like, and how about 10?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, step it up. But see, that's the thing. I think, like with video games I see every year, and like Madden 15 to 16 to 17, they probably could add all these features all at once. But how are they going to get you to buy the next one next year?
Right.
Here's the difference between current Apple and Steve Jobs' Apple when it comes to this iPhone.
He did the whole keynote himself versus Tim Cook letting other people do it.
No.
Well, yes, but
No. Well, what I'm getting at is,
yes.
if this were Steve Jobs still, and this was a decision he made where he's going to take away the 3.5 millimeter jack and make it all wireless technology, what would have also been announced is some kind of killer new approach to the wireless technology. Like, there would have been something so awesome.
Like it goes in your eye.
Yeah, it would have been something so awesome where you're like, yeah, forget you 3.5 millimeter jack. Like, I don't want you anymore because they've given us this whole new way of doing something.
Okay, so you're saying he took away something and gave you something better.
Far better.
Yeah, Tim Cook is just kind of going,
Eh.
yeah, okay. But they have the courage to change it. That's what they say. And it's kind of like,
Why?
you just, not really courageous. Interesting thing
Ballsy.
that they do have, the Wi-Fi and the cellular connection has gotten better. This is kind of actually important in terms of functionality, right?
Okay.
The faster LTE with better worldwide roaming, 450 megabits per second, which is 3 times faster than the LTE on the iPhone 6. And because they bought WhatsApp and other things like that, you can answer third-party calls now directly.
Yeah.
There, so they're kind of integrating that into the system like they did with Twitter, right? And functionality. So that's a good move there as they continue to. They just need to this is what it feels like to me is where their innovation is going to come from now, because they have such a monopoly on the market, is just to buy other people's ideology and just incorporate it
ideas.
into their,
Exactly what I was
You don't buy
thinking, too.
ideology.
buy their ideas and then just incorporate it into their.
Yeah. Well, take for example, like let's say they would have gone with the whole wireless headsets only. Well, here's something you could have done to wow me. Made it so to charge those earpieces, you just put
Click
them.
your heels 3 times.
You just put them on top of your phone.
Yeah.
So when your phone is charging and these things are just on top of the screen, they're charging with your
I
phone.
gotcha.
I've been like, oh, okay, well that's a cool idea.
Or if they included them with the phone there.
Yeah, I just like
Instead of
some
charge.
kind of like they've created a whole new way of thinking about how you do this. That'd been great, but all they've really done is just said we don't want to use that jack anymore. Like,
Yeah,
that's
we
it.
wanted to put the taptic in. Yeah, so it's interesting though with the widgets and kind of that thing. I mean, it's just kind of starting to look more like a Droid phone just on the iPhone. So
How much is this new iPhone?
it starts around
$1 billion.
$400, I believe. So
I've got all that right here in front of me.
Yeah, go ahead.
$400?
So for the iPhone,
Two of my car
let's talk about the
So
7 and the 7 Plus.
So for the iPhone 7, the bottom line is $649, and then the top of the line is $849. Of course, I mean if you like go to Verizon, whatever, like
Yeah, you
they
get to
might
choose
take
your
some of the
update plan.
updates.
Then
might-
it's only $349.
right,
Yeah.
but this is like the retail price.
Yeah.
And then the Plus starts at $769 and goes up to $969.
Are you kidding?
$1,000, dude.
Dude. Out of here.
$1,000.
See how I didn't cuss? You're welcome.
Insane. But Apple does do special financing where you can apply for a Barclay credit card. There.
See,
So-
this reminds me of Lethal Weapon 4, where Joe Pesci's character says, "This is how they bleep you. They get you with the little stuff, and that's how they bleep you." This is what Apple is doing. They're bleeping you guys out of all your money. You're welcome.
And so a little bit more info about the actual AirPods, because this to me is a little bit of a better move in terms of originality. Like, I appreciate them taking a step like this, because at least to me it feels like a step closer to Steve Jobian kind of days.
Steve Jobian.
So
Oh, that's Christian. I get it.
and yeah.
Just got that. Faithandwhatever.
I think one of the interesting things is one of their biggest points is that it's finally untangled. Like, you don't have to worry about getting your wires tangled anymore, which I actually do appreciate. But a 15-minute charge of the AirPods gives you 3 hours of battery life there. So,
Okay, so
that's what it is. So they sit in a little thing like that. Chris, can you pull up an AirPod picture
This could be lost very quickly.
and throw it? Well, and so that's the thing, dude.
You'll
Like,
be out $160.
I just can't imagine spending $160 on that. If that, I would just go buy the JBL, the noise canceling headphones that are already wired. Like, dude, those things are rad.
Something I find interesting is they haven't upgraded the display very significantly. I wanted to double check the.
They're going to AMOLED display, aren't they? Or is that the iPhone 8? They're speculating.
Yeah, because the iPhone 7 still have a 920 by 1080 display, whereas for quite a while now, Samsung's been using 2560 by 1440 displays. Super sharp. They're beautiful.
But Apple's response to that, right, is Apple fits more in per megapixel, right, than Samsung does, so they don't need to necessarily go as full, right, or as many megapixels, because their megapixels are more jam-packed, as it were. Jam-packed of what? I don't know. Light, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure if that actually works
Like that, okay,
logic
'cause
works. I've heard something like that before. I'm not saying,
sure. You might be an idiot, but you know.
No, I've heard something like that before where they said like they upgrade the pixels themselves, but I don't think that means a whole lot to the human eye.
Okay, so it's not a big change, unless they're just basically telling you it's more important than it actually is.
Right.
One thing that's neat is when you take the earbuds out of the AirPod, they stop. The music stops playing automatically there, and it knows the difference between when you're talking and when you're listening to actual tunes or whatever you're doing. And so you can actually just put one in, and it automatically directs it into a mono there. Oh, also it has new speakers, right? It has stereo speakers there, that's probably not new.
So you can annoy all the people around you even more.
Okay, so these things cost $160, right?
Yeah, the AirPods do.
Yeah.
Good Lord. All right. What would it cost? Okay, if they were to drop it down to something that's reasonable, what do you guys think reasonable would be? Because
$40.
that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
I was thinking more like 30.
I maybe a Christmas present. Like, I don't think I would buy them.
Okay.
Out of the box, is there any sort of headphone?
It comes with regular ones and the dongle.
So it comes with the dongle and the regular ones in the
Yeah,
box.
Yeah, the regular Lightning dongle.
So they got rid of the jack, and you still have to plug your phones in.
Yeah.
Your free ones.
Right.
Yeah. They did this on the MacBook Pro
To the future,
too,
kind
where-
of.
as long as you're willing to pay for it.
Not.
Right, where they got rid of all of the kind of the ports on the side of the MacBook Pros, right? So you have one charger for everything and kind of one USB port for everything you want to either charge
So
stuff,
then you had
watch
to go
stuff.
buy a USB hub.
And no, I just don't do more than one thing at a time because they're not going to get me. So I don't know. Overall, I get the keynote and I watch it, and it's not as big of a deal as it used to be when Jobs did it, right? Like I used to like mark it on the calendar, wake up early, skip class, or not pay attention in class and watch these things because the way there was just a mystique, and kind of an aura around him, like his vibe, or his energy. It was just so charismatic and magical. He was like the Lucky Charms guy. But it doesn't so quirky, right? In this keynote, he rides to the down to the keynote with James Corden, the Late Late Show host, and they do like this dance song together with Pharrell in the car. It's called Car Karaoke. And then at the end, they have Sia perform. And it's just kind of like, meh. It's
Right.
just gimmicky, it feels like. It's not about the innovation or the next creativity of
part
humans.
Steve Jobs wasn't that great on screen. What he was great at was creating a product that he could just hold up and blow your mind.
Yeah, where he didn't
That's the
have
problem.
to be great.
I imagine as far
Tim
as
Cook is neither of those.
Tim Cook's problem isn't Tim Cook being less interesting than Steve Jobs. It's that
Although he is.
He's not creating a product that's as interesting as Steve
Yeah.
Jobs' product.
Yeah.
That's why he needs Sia up there, because the iPhone 7 isn't melting faces right now. Like anytime Steve Jobs got onto a stage, he showed a product that just brought down
It
the
was
house.
always in this super sexy black turtleneck, right? It was just like never
You gonna
a
go
big
buy a
deal.
turtleneck now?
And dude, I have 4 of them: black, matte black, jet black, and then I don't know what the other
You are
blacks are.
black empowered, my friend. Welcome to the team.
So what's our time at, Chris? Where are we at?
We're at 22 minutes.
All right. Well, any final thoughts before we cap this and kill the?
Here's what I say. If you guys don't like how Apple is doing things, do not buy it, because the more we buy stuff that we just don't like, they're going to keep giving us the same crap. If you don't like McDonald's and you don't think it's good food,
We love
don't
McDonald's
eat it.
here.
I know, I do too.
Yeah, me too, man.
Let me get it,
We
man.
apologize, McDonald's.
Hashtag. But yeah,
The other big thing, I guess the other last piece of news is Nintendo. You want to go ahead and talk about that for a quick moment?
the gray box?
No, Nintendo is not only coming out with games, but they have sort of a limited exclusivity with iOS, that they're coming to iOS first, Android second. So Android will still get them, but there will be sort of a limited exclusivity. First big one being Super Mario Run coming to iPhone, I think December 2016, which that's
Every time.
That's the first one.
that's pretty amazing though. That we talked to anybody 2 years ago, nobody would have guessed that Nintendo would be doing anything but Nintendo games on Nintendo
God,
consoles.
they probably got so much money for that. I mean,
Yeah.
and it seems to me that people who are big Nintendo fans probably are more Droid users than they are iPhone users, right? Is that a false correlation
We'll find out.
there? So this seems like a good grab at it. Super Mario Run actually looks entertaining, by the way. First Super Mario game you can play one-handed, so it leaves you free to take a bite of a sandwich, like Mashimoto said, or whatever the guy who created his name is.
Hayamoto.
Mayomato.
Too.
And so, I mean, that looks kind of cool, but not enough to buy an iPhone
You can
for
play
$1,000.
2 Mario games at the same time.
Oh my gosh.
So, while you're recovering from that mind explosion, feel free to follow us and connect with us on all forms of social media. I'm at Josh_Carmen. He's KJ from OC on everything. Also, get in touch with him, KJ from OC
Podcast on
at-
Facebook.
Yeah, and build a website for him.
Please.
You can find Jamathy at James Yuile. Chris is at Marion Ranch. Hey, when's this record dropping, dude?
Into the Munch. We
All
should be
right,
good.
Into
Making
the
music?
Munchkin.
Yeah, this song right here is from an artist on my label.
Oh,
Marion
hello.
Ranch Records.
Yeah.
Be sure to check that out, and be sure to connect with us on Instagram, Faith and Whatever, where you can find daily videos and or photos of awesome inspiration.
And help me get a new phone.
And thanks for stopping by.
Peace.